There we go. All right, we're live. Awesome. Good morning and welcome to some maintenance today. So we're going to be talking about maintenance. I'm going to be doing some maintenance together. I'm basically going to run, my normal lives run for an hour. So we are going to probably do the first couple of maintenances until I run out of time. So stick around, hang out. I'm going to talk about all kinds of things related to maintenance and what's going on in your machine. So info. Hi, I'm Juliet Kadish, and this is Colorful Threads Embroidery. Welcome to my channel. And I am I'm a trainer. So I train. Thank you for my chat. I'm a technician, a certified technician, and has been for 20 years now. Oh my gosh. So I've been running Melco machines for 25 years. And if you have any questions, please link them into the comments below, and I will try my best to answer any questions you've got. Also, let me know where you're watching from. It's awesome to see who's tuning in. And are getting started things. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. It's absolutely free. If you want to make sure that you get notified anytime I go live, don't forget to hit the bell. And if today's video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. All right, so maintenance, what are we doing? So I'm working on the Summit, but that's just how I'm going to be moving the machine around and stuff, but it's all interactive, and we're just going to go through it. We're going to talk about all of the steps and why it's important to do the certain things that you are doing. Okay, so I'm just going to get started with my maintenance, and you see they're all flashing on me. If you can see it, they're all flashing over here. So the daily maintenance, it's usually, the daily is what you're doing every 4 hours. You're cleaning stuff out, and that's going to depend on what you're sewing. If you're sewing bath towels or anything that's putting a lot of fuzz everywhere, like minky fabric, or if you're sewing and you're using faux fur and anything in your hook area is getting like packed full of lint, fuzz, debris, you're going to be doing this maintenance more often. This is just manufacturer suggested maintenance. All right. Remote from Vermont today. Awesome. Hi, Miss Fowler. Welcome to maintenance. All right, so we're going to be doing our 200 million maintenance. I'm going to click next. There we go. So remove the bobbin case. So this is our, hook area we're doing daily. Mine has the drop down little piece here, and take my bobbin case out. All right, remove the bobbin case, lower the hook guard, press the next button. When I press the next button, can you grab out of my purse before you come this way? My blower, my air blower, it's in my bag. Please. All right, I'm going to click next. So at this point in the maintenance, if you're using the EMT, the E16, any of those machines, anything that has this red driver here, this red here, you're going to have your little trimmer moving back and forth. So it's moving right now back and forth, and it's moving so that it can loosen up debris out of your trimmer, so that every day you're cleaning out at least any debris. And I'm going to turn my blower on. I got this really cool rechargeable blower. I'll try to put a link in for this blower if you're interested in it. Totally rechargeable. Gets in there and cleans everything out. It's nice when you're hot. Okay, so Golden Dirt maintenance. Yay! Hi, welcome Golden Dirt, Mom. And then we have glue paper scissors from California. I'm hoping that you educate me so I can love my summit, love your summit. Yes. So I am absolutely in love with my summit machine. And if you're not in love with it, I have lots of videos for you. And we have Peggy. Hi, Peggy. Welcome. Yes, you want the blower? Yeah, this is amazing. The link, Drew just put the link down in the chat for you. Love this thing. And there's 3 speeds. So that was fast. And it blows. I think it's like 200,000 revolutions per minute or something. It's a lot. And there's 3 different settings for it. High, medium, and low. Let's see. Low is like not much. Low is almost a joke. But anyways, yeah, link for this guy. Love it. So that you're not throwing away cans of air or buying cans of air anymore. All right. So we've got that blown clean. Now I'm going to press the next button. Apply the oil. So you know the oil is going to go right in this little curve down here. Can you see either the screen or down here? Yeah. So if you know where the oil goes, if you've done your maintenance, you should know where your oil goes. So let's talk about our oil for a minute. You could have this bottle, you could have the Madeira bottle, you might even have the Zoom oil. It's a white machine oil is what you need to be using. So if you need, we'll make sure that you have a link to my oil bottle. I do sell a refillable oil bottle as well that's got 1 ounce of oil in it. And so let's talk about the oil for just a second. White machine oil. What is this white machine oil that we're putting in our machine? So this white machine oil is designed to evaporate out of your equipment without leaving a sticky, gummy residue. That is why it is so important. No sticky, gummy residue. Now, how often do you have to oil your hook? It says every 4 hours. What I have found though is if you're doing like a big jacket bag design and that design is running solid for 45 minutes, right? Big jacket bag design. What's happened is your oil has evaporated out. I found that my second jacket bag design gave me lots of thread breaks. And I was annoyed. I was like, as a technician, I was like, wait, what's going on? What's wrong with my machine? And I started doing all kinds of stuff to it. And then I was like, well, let me just oil the hook. All of my problems went away. So because your machine is moving, you know, at 6 stitches per second, or not 6, 16 stitches per second, right? 16 stitches per second. This stuff is running fast. It's moving. And that oil evaporates out. So you might find that you need to oil more often. So what I've started doing just as a normal practice is every time I have to put a new bobbin in, because you're going to get on average 45 to 55,000 designs out of a bobbin, depending on the design and how much fill is in it, right? That's a lot of stitches. And every time I put a bobbin in, that's about enough runtime as a jacket bag design. 45,000 stitches. So I put a drop of oil every time I put a new bobbin in my machine. And then I don't have to deal with thread breaks from all of my metal pieces that are rubbing together, causing friction with a fraction of a second of a pause is all it takes to give a thread break. So try oiling your bobbin a little bit more often. Oiling your hook, where the bobbin goes. It's all one word to me, right? Bobbin. All right. So apply oil using the next button to continue. All right. Insert bobbin case. So before we insert our bobbin and put it back away, what I want to do is I'm going to pull out my bobbin bin. I have lots of bobbins. My bobbin tote bin has lots of stuff in it. So I wind my own bobbins. So I have a whole bunch of colored bobbins in here and empty inserts down inside here. I have bobbin cases that are backlash springs. I've got a couple of different brands of bobbins in here that I'm working through at the moment. But what I'm really in here to get is a post-it note. Just a post-it note. Everybody's got post-it notes. And I want my bobbin tension gauge. I'm gonna spend a whole lot of time going over how to use the bobbin tension gauge, because I have a whole video on working on bobbin tension and getting that right. But it's part of the maintenance. We want to make sure that every day before you get started, your bobbin case that you're going to be using is clean, and you want to make sure that it's tensioned properly so you don't have any of those issues to deal with for the day, right? You're getting yourself ready for the day. Okay, tip number 1. Yes. Oh yeah, you're going to get lots of tips. So I like to take the post-it note, and on the spot that's sticky, I like to stick it to itself. And I'm just covering up what I had there before so that I can make like a little scoop out of my post-it note. Yeah, sorry, this camera is backwards. Wah, wah. Yeah, so it makes like a little scoop. On your bobbin case, you have your tension spring on the side. You want to slide that scoop in there and get out any lint, any debris. I got one tiny little piece because I keep mine clean. You shouldn't have much in there, but you're not going to get those little pieces out if you don't stick this thin post-it note in there. You're not sticking an old needle in there and scratching it all up, and you're not sticking a business card in there. It's too thick, and what you'll end up doing is making the spring go bad too soon. All right, so we're clean. I'm just going to finish off this little bit of bobbin that I have. And it doesn't matter if you're using magnetics, plastics, your bobbin tension is going to be the same. The magnetic does not do anything with your tension. It just holds everything together. So on my bobbin tension gauge, I want between 200 and 250. And my bobbin has gotten tight. It's over 300. It's between 250 and 300. So I need to loosen my bobbin just a touch. Here it is. And the last bobbin I used might have been a little thinner. You know, bobbins aren't standard like your regular thread, which is like 40 weight thread. Doesn't matter what brand you buy, it's all going to be 40 weight. It's all going to have the same thickness. But bobbins, man, they can give you anything they want. It's usually around a 60 weight. And that way you can get more on a bobbin. There we go. Now I'm between 200 and 250. All right, now I'm good to go for the day. Okay, bobbin's good. Tensioned, cleaned. We're oiled and blown out. Put my bobbin back in. Shut my little door. Trim my thread. That's a clamp. That's not going to trim anything. Trim my thread. All right, what do we got? Chat is moving. Okay. Next. Done. So it only takes a couple of minutes to do your morning maintenance. And of course, I'm talking about so many things, so it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so daily is done and ready. The other thing that I like to do every morning before I get started with my day is check my needles. What was I sewing yesterday? Was I having thread breaks yesterday? I mean, really think about your needles. Your needles are working hard for you. They are penetrating all different types of fabrics, synthetics, or naturals, and layers, depending on what you're sewing through. Your needle works hard for you. So every day I want to make sure I don't have any blunt needles so that I can have a good sewing day. So I'm just going to use my fingernail. Yeah, you don't have to have much fingernail. and we're going to feel the tip of our needle, and I'm just going to go right down the line. Feel the tips, and if I feel a blunt tip, oh, number 3 is blunt. So I should have a screwdriver here. See, this is why I do this. What needles do I need? You'll know if you have a bad needle. And chances are, if you walk over to your machine right now and you feel your needles, you're going to find one. Go see, and then come back and tell me. I'm on 3. 3 is blunt. So I'm going to take that out. And then what I do, everybody disposes of their needles how they want to, but I'm just going to use my Post-it note and I put my needles in there. That way when I put them in the trash can, they don't disappear and fall out. Some people use sharps. Okay, let me keep checking. 4 is good. And the tip is just going to be super smooth when you run your fingernail down that tip of that needle. If you feel any kind of scratchy stuff at the bottom, it's blunt, it's bad. Get rid of it. It's going to give you bad sewing. Your embroidery is not going to look clean on the edges of your satin stitches. It's going to give you thread breaks. You could potentially poke a hole in a shirt if you have a bad needle that's blunt on the tip and you're trying to sew some small lettering, or just some lettering in general, you know, 1/4 inch lettering or so. You could poke the entire you could poke an entire hole on the inside of like an A or an E, and then you have a hole in the shirt, because that blunt needle is just going to cause damage. So we're going to check our needles. 3 is what I had that was bad. Now then, let me put in another needle. What am I using? What is this? What is this? This is something else. Woohoo! I don't even know what this is, but it doesn't belong in here. It goes to a home sewing machine. Okay, back to my box here. I don't need a 90. I guess I could have had needles ready. I didn't know I was going to find a bad one. These are 65 9s. Guess I got a bunch of those. A 65 9 will be fine. All right, now putting your needle back in. So for my new people, I'm going to be using my needle alignment decal. So I'll put a link to my decal in the chat as well. So I developed a decal to help you get your needle installed in the correct alignment. Like it says in our book from the machine, it needs to be 5 degrees. How do you know what 5 degrees is if you don't see it? 5 degrees. 5 degrees. It's not much. I'm going to put my grabber in. Get my needle. This is why I have my little clamp here. Find my long groove and put that all the way up in the machine. And while it's all the way up in as far as it'll go, I'm going to grab my magnet, which I store up here on my machine, put it on the eye. And now, if you were right behind me, you would see that I can twist this around and it moves, right? So I'm going to put my decal in, make it come straight out towards me, the purple line on the side. And then I'm going to adjust my magnet until it's 5 degrees and tighten that in. If your needles are not installed in the correct angle, you're asking for problems. If your needle is too far to the right, past 20 degrees, you're going to have lots of thread breaks and shredding where half the thread's sewing and the other half isn't. If your needle is the other way and it's coming onto the left side, if your needle is installed that way, you're going to have skip stitches. So if you're running into issues where you have lots of shredding and skipped stitches, slow down and talk. Change your needle. Make sure it's orientated correctly. And if you need help and you need this decal, we'll put the link for that in chat as well. And then I'll have them listed in the bottom of the video later. Okay, so I got my needle in, ready to go. Put my grabber back out. See, we're daily maintenance, getting ready to sew. This will eliminate problems later, like thread breaks on needle number 3. Okay. Now then, that's done. I'm just going to stick all of this in here. That in with my bobbins. Decal. My oil. All right. One needle. I only had one. Get that in the trash can. All right. Got all my stuff put away. Look at me. I'm all clean and organized. All right. Now, let's do our second maintenance. And if you're working in the new software, it's going to be 2 million stitches. And so what they did is they discovered that the 50 million maintenance and the 100 million maintenance is way too far gone for the machine for the greasing and oiling. So if you have software that has the 50 and the 100, then you want to do all of that more often. I've been telling all the clients to do those maintenances when you get to the 20 million, so that you are refreshing that grease and that oil in your machine more often. Okay, 2 million stitch maintenance on my machine, which is the needle drive bars, the bars that go up and down drive our needles. It's going to be our V-rails. It's going to be our trimmer as well in this maintenance. So, okay, next. If you have any clamps, hat driver, slimline, the Fast Clamp Pro, any clamping systems on your machine, take them off and get rid of them. Let's see. My husband's machine is 5 degrees left, so he assumed Summit was the same. So I moved them 5 degrees right. Guess what? No shredding and breaks. Yes. Yeah, different machines definitely require your needles to be completely different. There is a machine that actually has their needles 90 degrees and the groove is on one side. So definitely pay attention to what machine you have. So, all right, that's great. Thank you. All right, no clamps. Next. Go down, go, wait, what? Go down. There we go. Okay. Wait. Okay. Okay, so this is the part where we're putting the drops in up here. And it is, let's see, on my software, it says 18 to 25 drops. So I'm just going to put those drops in and 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20. Now, we want to make sure that we wait our 10 minutes. So somebody start a clock, 10 minutes. What's happening is you have this little spot here, but your oil has to drain down a groove and into a bar in the machine and down that bar and then out into some felt pads, so that every time your needle goes up and down, this is a dry bar inside, it's getting oil, so it doesn't cause any problems. So oil, this is a maintenance that I see, like when I come in to do a tune-up, I will take this cover off. This is a later maintenance, and I'll look at the felt pads on that part, and most of the time they're dry and I'm having to give them a good soaking. So all right, so that's what's going on there. It's got to have time to move and groove and go down into your machine. So do that. Now, you may have to add a few drops in weight. After adding, the machine will need to be in its position. All right, so I'm going to click next, because what they've done is they've made the machine stay still now, because they know people don't set timers, while we do other things. So the next thing is our needle bars. So there's these holes here, and it says to put oil in the holes, but where is that really going? If you don't know where you're going, you could put this oil bottle way in, like an inch deep, and then you're really going past it. The bar you're going for is really only about a half an inch deep in there. So I'll show you what that looks like. You ready? Take a deep breath. I'm not afraid to rethread my machine. This is what it looks like on the inside. And you should be able to see there. Mine is all metal, so it's silver in there. So you got a bar, and then you got a square bar, and then you got a round bar, and then you got a square piece, a round piece and a square piece. Those round bars is where you're getting that oil. So I like taking my cover off so that I can make sure I get the oil right where I need it to be. So on that bar, and I'm going to let it drain down. And I'm just doing one drop on each, because again, we are dealing with a felt pad. At the base of these bars, there's a felt pad at the very bottom. And you want it to drain down the bar, because then it's going to go around the bar and hug the bar, so that every time your needle bar moves up and down, it's distributing oil. All right, that is all done. I'm going to put my cover back on. Don't trap any of those threads. All right. And oil bars lower. Okay, next. Oil bars upper. So the upper bars, I'm going to need my phone for, because I need my flashlight. What did we do before we had flashlights always on our phones? It's like, what did we do? How did we live without a flashlight anytime we wanted one? All right, I'm going to stand for this, because what I'm trying to do is get to the bar now that's in here. And the bar that's in here is directly behind this silver piece on our cover. So the only way I can get in there is at about 40-degree angle with a flashlight. Did you put the oil on felt or the bar? So I put the oil on the bar, and the oil will go down and self get onto the felt pad. So you don't have to directly go to the felt pad. Just make sure you got a good drop on the bar that you could see run down. Got my flashlight, and I'm going to go in. And the most important part of this maintenance is there is right in behind needle 8, 9, 10, and 11, there is a green circuit board in there. And you don't want any oil on that green circuit board. Can you see that green right down in there? Because it's better without the light. It's got a little white piece on it too. That's your part number and stuff. Don't get any oil in this bar. You want to keep that bar oil free, because you don't want to short that bar out. That little circuit board is what controls your thread detection. So if your machine just flatline runs all the time and doesn't have a nice like pattern to its automatic, where the stitch automatic is going up and down, you need to replace that bar. So be careful of that bar. And I'm going to put my drop on that bar and let it drain down. Usually I would have my favorite show that I'm watching playing in the background while I'm doing this kind of thing. All right. The lower section. Yeah, that was the lower section. Now we're doing the upper section. Okay. All right. Now we've done that. Let's click next. Using a small drop oil, avoid this. See, it even says it now in the software. Avoid circuit board between 8 and 9. It's like the most important line on this entire page for you to read, and it should be like highlighted and in bold letters. All right, now we're gonna do the V-rail. So the weight of your entire needle case that moves back and forth runs on this V-rail on your machine. And that's the silver bar here. And at the end, if you look at it, it's like a pyramid because this is a V, engineers. It's a V. Let's see if you can see mine. Over like there. All right. So this rail holds this weight, and so you want to clean the lint, dust, debris off of this rail. You can use a lint-free cloth. What I tend to do whenever I show up to a client is I go to their trash can, because in your trash can you have pieces of cutaway stabilizer, and that is lint-free. It's a rag you can use and then throw away, so it gives it another life before you end up putting it in the landfill. So I like using those. They're readily available grease rags. That being said, I have no scraps. I have it sewn in a couple of days. We were on a trip up in Jacksonville for a few days working, so I don't have any scraps. So I'm just going to use a tissue. So when you clean, you want to clean both sides. And look at the goo, black goo. That black is burnt old oil and lint and debris that's been ground up. Okay, so you're going to put your oil on the front. One little drop and one little drop on the back. Front surface, back surface. All right, and you're going to do it over here close so that when we click next, it's going to distribute that oil across there for me. Okay, so we're ready to hit next. Now it wants us to do the right upper V-rail. So up here, top right, I'm just going to clean that V-rail. And put a drop of oil on the front and the back. After cleaning, use a small bottle of oil, press the next button, next. All right, now we're gonna do the trimmer. All right, so let me put my chat back up there, and I'm gonna get out my tools. It's a 2.5 millimeter wrench. Take those screws out, and of course, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, or clockwise is tight, counterclockwise is loose. So if I'm looking at this screw, counterclockwise. All right, and get that off there. Ew. It's not too bad, but it definitely needs done. You can tell that I was doing some black. This is what's left over from last Sunday whenever I was doing the distressed patches on the hat. So all of the debris inside of my trimmer is black. So, okay, we took it off. Next, we're going to take off our link cover back here. And I'm going to blow that clean. oh no. I ate a thread with my fan. Oh, I'm gonna have to, nope, it's gone. I guess it sucked it in and blew it out. Okay, danger, Will Robinson. All right, now the other thing that you can do is, so I blew on this, but nothing came out. So you could use a little brush. I don't even think I have a brush. Maybe in my sewing stuff. Let's see what a Q-tip will do. Can we get in there and clean it with a Q-tip? Oh yeah, I can loosen it all up with a Q-tip. So I'm just going in and loosening out that stuff that's down in there. Ew. Not bad, right? Because you're keeping it clean. You don't want it build up. The other thing you can do is flip your little trimmer blade up. Make sure there's nothing underneath there. Don't hang on to it too long when you're up like that. We don't want to stretch out our springs. But do you want to get any debris out from underneath there? That's better. All right. Next, put our link cover back on. I do want to see if I can find my brush for the next step. And I think I have a brush in another box over here. Yes. Yep, I got a brush. All right. Okay, I got a brush. So you can get in there and dig around with your brush, whatever it is, old toothbrush, dig stuff out. But the other thing that I want to do while I'm in here is take all this back out, and I want to take this brush and kind of clean in here. Clean inside, just get in there and kind of poke it around. Get in there and dig stuff out of your hook as well. Whoop, look at this, came out the back. It's a little fur ball. So I'm loosening and getting all that stuff out of there. All right. Next. Now I'm going to oil my trimmer. So on this machine, your trimmer is built into your needle plate. This is a game changer for those of you who have different modeled machines. This trims short tails, very short tails, like 1/4 of an inch long tail in the back of your item. The XT also trimmed very short. The Amaya had a little bit longer. It was between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. And then the S95 machine, it had a different trimmer, and it would leave like 3/4 of an inch on the back of the garment. So this trim's real small. And I'm going to oil. So you're going to put the oil right at that top edge. Put your drop in there. And you're going to take your tool, stick it in the hole at the side, and you're going to go all the way under. Because you're doing a couple of things. You're loosening up more debris that's in there. You're distributing the oil all around. And this bottom plate in your trimmer down here is carbide, and you're sharpening the back side of your trimmer. Ten times. Has stuff falling out on me. That means some more goo came out. Auto shut off. Yeah, definitely cleaned up all the little bits now. Okay. Oiled. Next. See, it even shows you moving all the way up and under. So I love the stop motion that's in the Summit. Love that. Clean with air. Everything is done. Reinstall. So when you reinstall, make sure that your blade is all the way to the back so that that hole is way back here, because that hole needs to go on this pin. This pin right here. So I like to have mine all the way to the back, and then I kind of roll it over. And it usually drops right down on. Okay. So we're going to reinstall the screws, but we're going to make them loose. I do maybe 3 or 4 twists. But the needle plate has movement now. It's moving back and forth. It's got, you know, wiggle to it. All model machines have wiggle, but you want to make sure your needle is directly in the center of the hole. So the next step and check to see the trimmer was on properly. The next step is to e-stop. So the needle plate must be the next step. The machine will look. Oh, so the Summit, it goes down by itself. On the EMTs and the older model, the Maya's, you got to e-stop. This one, it goes down by itself. I forget that. It does it for you. All right, so now we got the needle down in the hole, but it's very far. The hole is, the needle's very far to the right of the hole, which means the needle plate is all the way to the left. So now I'm going to move the needle plate around until I find the center, hold it in position, and tighten. You want that needle directly in the middle of that hole. If you're having lots of needle breaks and you're not doing this step, you could be, your needle plate is all the way to one side or the other. So reset your needle plate. So this kind of applies to any machine. Okay, that's tight and done. Next, back up. Done. Hello. Finished. All right. So do you have any questions about maintenance? Any steps of maintenance? I'm not going to do any more of the maintenances today because it's going to go longer. I've been trying to keep my videos around an hour. So today covered the daily maintenance and all of the things you should do every morning before you get started, and the 2 million stitch maintenance, which in the Summit and the E16 and the EMT 16X is weekly. And then next week, what we're going to do is we'll do the other 2 maintenances. We will do the monthly and the quarterly together next week. So again, with lots more information and insider tips and tricks from a technician who's been working on the machines for years. So stop by next week and check that out as well. I will make sure to have all the links for all of the things that I've talked about in the description box below. I am Juliet, and this is Colorful Threads Embroidery. And I hope that you learned something today. If you did learn something today, that's fabulous. Give me a thumbs up on the video or some hearts. You want to hit the bell, notification bell, if you have subscribed, to make sure that every time I go live or every time I post a video or a short, you get notified. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel. It is absolutely free, but it does help my algorithm, you know, all those things. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with me today while I did some maintenance. If you have questions, drop them below and I will answer them next week whenever we do the monthly and the quarterly. So until then, Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you later.